RebelRebel episode 21. This week, I get to sit down with comic book writer, viral video star, and all-round great guy Michael McAdam. There is a lot of coffee involved. Michael is the writer and creative force behind a ton of titles by Two Gargoyles Comics. He shares his views as well as his creative journey from going viral to having the most viewed title on Indie Planet. He also adds his thoughts on Funko Pop, Improv, and Patreon. Be sure to catch this episode on RebelRebel. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Libsyn. Check us out online, therebelrebelpodcast.com, or on social media at RebelRebelPod. I'm your host, Michael Dean Dargy. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 21, A Life Most Prolific with Michael McAdam. I'm sitting here with none other than Michael McAdam. Two Gargoyles Comics, and amongst other amazing things.
Yes, that's myself. Two Gargoyles, short for Two Gargoyles Comics, because me and one other gargoyle decided to start making comics, and then we just never stopped.
Wow. So let's build some context here. So sure. I'm going to drop some knowledge on people. So nice. 31 years ago. We went to a place called William Aberhart High School together.
I remember the day you used to have to walk to school.
And you could smoke.
Everywhere.
In the school. So we went to school together. Not only that, so I was thinking about this when you said you're going to come down. We did a class together at Loose Moose at the old Cineplex.
Yeah.
Like this back in early 80s.
Yeah, way back.
Which
Original Moose, yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild. So that's super cool. We also were in, I think probably two plays together, but certainly one where it was See How They Run.
Yes, that was it.
Right?
Neil Simon, yeah.
Neil Simon one. And then we did a musical together. Standing
room only.
So just to sort of bring it back full circle,
Yes.
That was 31 years ago, and that's a long freaking time.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, fast forward a bunch of years, you started writing comics.
Yeah.
I think 96 it says.
Yeah,
in your,
1996. Yeah.
So about 10 years after that experience, you decide to head off on this journey. You are, without question, prolific.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Well, it's like prophylactic, but not quite the same thing.
So, I mean, how? Why? What's prompted this entire thing?
Well, even in high school, I was always a comic nerd. I was very much into comics, but of course, I can't draw. So I'm always frustrated because I wanted to create, but couldn't. Mm-hmm. Bing bong, in comes the internet. And then suddenly I can reach out to other creators. And I met one, and then we started talking, and we made jokes, and that's how Diaper Man was born, which was my first comic.
Right.
It was basically just meant to be a one-shot joke. Ha, ha, ha. Very funny.
Yeah.
And this guy we both knew is the punchline. He ended up wearing diapers at the end of the comic. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And then people were like, this is funny. Do another one. So we did. And my buddy Mike Rieger was the artist, and he decided he wanted to be a villain called the Spanker. And I'm like, hilarious. Let's do that. So it was like, you got to picture Archie comics, but with a fetish bent to it, right? So it was like that level of innocence and innuendo, but without anything ever actually happening. So we decided to do all these sex jokes.
Yeah.
And then more and more people liked it. And then some American who ran a fetish magazine wanted to pay us to do the comic. Like, pay us American dollars.
What?
So I said, yes. I am a whore. And we did like 3 or 4 issues just for him.
Oh my God.
And then by that point we'd gotten the bug, and we thought this is a thing that could keep happening.
Yeah.
So it kept happening.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So flash back to high school, and I'll never forget. It was outside of the drama room.
Yes.
And you talked about Diaper Man back then.
That's
but
right.
Maybe not quite the same way.
No,
but there's been this inkling for like a while, right?
Cartoons are always ridiculous. There's a few things that keep popping up in cartoons. Characters doing drag. Mm-hmm. That just seems to be like Bugs Bunny. Everyone does that.
Yeah, sure.
Diapers are always hilarious. They keep popping up on random cartoons.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I found the most fun and the most ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so Diaper Man was kind of not quite formed in my head at that point.
Right,
it was just funny. And then it was actually Mike Rieger, the artist, that said, "You are Diaper Man. You're like a superhero. Like you diaper everything, and it's like that's your humor. That's like everything is in diapers." I'm like, yes, I guess we should do something with that. And then it took off. And then once it took off, we started to get embarrassed that it was the only thing we were doing because it looked pretty fetishy fixated. And we thought, what's this saying about us? Right. So then we branched out to Twilight Detective Agency, which is our
supernatural,
noir mystery thriller, but with comedy. Yeah. Always comedy. And so we're like, yay, we can do more than just one thing. Yay.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he went his own way. And then I had to find another artist. So I did. And that was Jeremy Thew, an American friend of mine who was in Milwaukee at the time, but was introduced through a friend of a friend. Again, thank you, Internet.
Yeah.
And I liked his art so much, I wanted to do more with him.
Yeah.
And so we branched out from there, and so on, and so on, and so on.
That is so cool. So you tend to have, I don't want to say fetish as a theme, because I mean, Diaper Man certainly is fetishist.
Yeah. The whole humor is derived from fetishism.
But gloaming, not so much.
No, gloaming is done by a local artist, local to Calgary, Kyle Burles and myself.
Kyle Hazard, right?
KyleHazard.com. That's right. That's him. And gloaming is horror. Yeah. Kyle and I both have a love of horror.
Okay.
And we decided we wanted to do something together. We were inspired for gloaming because we went to Disney World. And the hotel next to our hotel was abandoned.
What?
Oh, yeah. So
it's got Scooby-Doo written all over it.
Straight up. So first of all, the pool there was full of algae, so it looked creepy. And it was the shape of a coffin.
What?
The pool was cocoffin-shaped. I'm not kidding.
Oh
and I was like, does no one notice this?
Yeah,
like, I'll swim in this for sure.
You can't write it.
The it was like one of those split level motels, like there was an upstairs and a downstairs, but you could see from the outside. So everything was dead and abandoned and gross, except for this one gazebo right in the middle, and there was green grass all around the gazebo. That was the only thing living there.
What?
So we went on the gazebo, and 12 cats just boiled out from underneath it. I thought, there is a dead body underneath here, and then we went to the second level, and there was a pile of Bibles. Just piled up.
Holy crap.
And the top Bible was open. So I took a picture of it and I was like, what's it say? And it said, and the house shall be destroyed and the bricks moved from this place to another place, for it is a house of sin. I'm like, awesome. Awesome. God has smote this motel and it is forever cursed. God. So we're like, we need to. So now there's a haunted motel in our little town of Gloaming.
That's amazing.
That was awesome.
Oh, these happy little accidents, hey?
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got Diaper Man.
Yes.
You got Two Gargoyle or
Twilight Detective Agency.
You've got Gloaming.
Yeah, Gloaming. I have Thunder.
Thunder is hilarious to me.
Thank you.
Because he's Canadian.
Yeah, he's half Norse god, half Canadian, super polite. That's his tagline. I just went to the Kelowna Comic Con, the Comic Expo there in August. That tagline alone sold out the book. People stopped and went, I need to know.
Right. Now.
Yeah. Give me this.
And so just one issue so far?
5.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. There's a
good
graphic
job research,
novel.
Mike.
There's a graphic novel of issues 1 to 4, and then issue 5 is out. But what I'm doing is I'm refreshing the art for the graphic novel because I want it to be stronger, because I want it to be able to compete. My goal is to have it in chapters all across Canada.
Nice.
And to do that, I want to put my best foot forward. So right now there's a second edition, issue number 1 out, and second edition, issue number 2 starts production in November.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, you can just you can go in and sign a deal with chapters, like individually.
I did not know that, but I heard rumors of something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I was aiming for.
Yeah. So here's what I know about this side of it, because we did this with Callum Lycan. We did a Scottish CD for him, storytelling CD called Scottish Bedtime Stories.
Oh.
Bloody and disgusting and awesome. But we produced this CD, Drop Bear and Panda did, and we then put it into chapters. So we had to go to each individual chapters, talk with their people, and get them to sign a license deal with us for X number of copies. They'd put it on their shelf. We could do a signing if we wanted to.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that Chapters does that.
Oh,
that's how Canadian talent gets recognized.
Exactly. So I was super stoked by it, so I wanted to share that.
Oh, yes, thank you.
And I've got some connections. I can be like, oh, go call this person, whatever. So you can start with one store, but you'd need an agent to get you into all the stores.
Yes.
But, in terms of just getting your foot in the door.
Yeah. I like foots in the door. Right? That's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, so super polite, and you sold out that book because it's brilliant.
Well, that's so they tell me.
And then you've got one called Spectrum.
That's right, Spectrum. He is an LGBT-themed superhero. I wanted to tell a coming-out story of a young gay man based on sort of my own experiences with gay youth in Calgary. One of the things that's always disappointed me about LGBT stories is it either goes straight for the sex or straight to camp.
Right.
It's like there's two ends of the spectrum and nothing in between. I wanted to tell a story that was about people and that their sexuality is part of who they are, but we don't go straight for the sex.
Right.
And I made it superheroes because, let's face it, superheroes are fun.
Right. Well, I like somewhere in the stuff that I was reading, it's like he's super gay and he's coming out and gets his superheroes at the same time. So he's totally like screwed up as he's coming out into this world.
He's getting ready to come out. He's accepted that he's gay. And bam, he gets superpowers like the very next night. So now he's got two identities. And then the government steps in because in this universe, the government sort of mandates and regulates superheroes. So now they're telling him what to do. And he hasn't even had a chance to catch his breath yet.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you deal with identity when there's so many different ways you're being pulled, many different directions you're being pulled in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, like, how often are you publishing and working on these pieces? Have you shelved things? Like, is Gloaming still going?
Yeah, Gloaming is still going. Everything I've got is still ongoing.
Yeah.
I have a project ready to go. It's on the shelf right now. It's called The Agents of Paw. Paw stands for Protect and Watch Over. And it's about a wolf and a lion who are actually fae. They're fairies. They're from the land of fairy.
Yeah.
And their job is that they're basically buddy cops, but they're the type of cops that watch over children so that the dark fairies don't get them.
Oh, cool.
So they protect and watch over.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And when's that one going to hit the...
I'm shopping. I have an artist in mind, but I'm not quite sure the project is ready for me to pull the trigger on yet. I've finished the script. I'm going to let it mellow, and then I'm going to reread it and see if I hate it.
Tweak it and massage it. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But other than that, and I've got a new one coming out, The Magical Mr. Punch. And he is a British mage, and he's also a rock star. So he's a musician in a band called Punch and Judy. And
kind of music?
Well, they're eclectic. They're on the rock side of pop with a little bit of goth thrown in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Mr. Punch, he has a death's head mask face makeup.
Yeah.
And that's sort of his signature thing.
Yeah.
And what I did not expect was for women to find him as sexy as they do. I was just writing this character, and put it this way, my own mother was like, oh, yeah, he's hot, eh? Oh, geez. Oh. And I was like, awkward. Oedipus, I can't, what's happening? But no, I found that many women are like artists are drawing him and they're just fascinated with this character. And I thought, okay, if I don't do a book, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So
far out.
Yeah, he appears in Twilight Detective Agency #1. That's where his debut is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then, spin-off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as writing goes, like you just dive right in, and
it doesn't stop. I read something somewhere where you can tell you're a writer if the stories keep going on in your head all the time. And so, this dates back to even high school. People said I was daydreaming, and now I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was writing.
Yes.
In my head. Yeah. But no, it's like that. It's like a constant scene study. It's like a constant role play. It's always going on. And eventually it builds up to the point where you have to give birth to whatever the next script is.
Interesting. So how have you found it finding artists, I guess, is one question. I'm going to load a couple questions.
Sure.
Finding and working with artists,
Yes.
How's that been? Traveling to comic expos.
Yes.
And working that crowd, and that's the other thing. And finally, has anybody ever cosplayed your characters?
Alrighty. So, number one, finding artists. Again, thank God for the internet. Even on Facebook now, there is a group dedicated specifically to connecting comic book writers with artists.
Wow.
And I'm just like, hallelujah. Like, it was just an amazing godsend. I have found artists through there.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is also word of mouth. Like, oh, hey, you might know my buddy, blah, 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 and check out his work and whatnot. Yeah. Everyone has an online portfolio now and social media, so you can immediately see if their style suits your project before you even say hi to them, right? Which is very nice. So that part is a lot easier than it used to be. And you can also negotiate right up front with what you're looking for, what you can pay and whatnot, so that it just demystifies a lot of those tentative first moments of building that relationship. Second part to your question, working with artists, I've learned a lot, I think, since 1996. Like, like Mike and I would have falling outs over Diaper Man all the time. Like, oh, we're going too far. We're not going far enough.
Right.
This is this and this is that. And I learned that you, at the end of the day, someone has to be in charge, but you also still have to listen to the other person because they're on a journey too.
Right.
I'm the writer. I have my writing journey.
Right.
The artist has things they want to do.
Yeah.
So now when I write a script, I'm very lax on the descriptions. I basically just do the dialogue with a couple of little things thrown in that need to be there for the story.
Right.
And the rest is completely up to the artist.
Very cool.
Yeah. Because Brian Bendis wrote a book called Words for Pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like the Bible. To me, and it really gives you an idea on how to be a professional, how to do up a treatment and a pitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it also how to respect your artist.
Yeah.
And how to let them know how to respect you, the writer, as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because they got an itch to scratch.
Absolutely. I got yelled at once. Oh, it's Captain Mike in the chopper over there.
Is that like a Chinook helicopter?
I know that there's like an army helicopter right now. If you don't hear from us after this, Guantanamo.
They're finding us.
Or whatever the Canadian Guantanamo is.
Right. Geronimo.
Yeah, Geronimo. And the other part of your question was conventions.
Right.
Dealing with the convention crowd.
Yeah, even getting there. I'm imagining that there's going to be people that are listening to this podcast are just like, holy shit, like I've always wanted to do this, don't know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. You sign up to do a convention. Give me the painting. Like, paint the scene for me, what it's like to go to your first convention. What are the crowds like? You have a table, you're hawking your wares. Like, give me the experience.
My first convention was called Conversion 2, and it was in 1985. And back then, again, pre-internet, the idea of finding like-minded people blew me away. Like, these are people who get all my references. These are people who not only know all the stuff I like, but are introducing me to stuff I haven't even heard of.
Right.
It's amazing. Flash forward to today, because of the internet, you usually know pretty much what's out there.
Yeah.
But seeing it made real is still the biggest high. You walk into a room, and first of all, the cosplay is amazing. Like, there's characters from video games, from movies, from cartoons brought to life.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. So I always try to get photo ops with like every cosplay that I like. I just met Endora from Bewitched, which talk about vintage cosplay.
Wow.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, I wanted to be you when I grew up. Darwood. And so things like that. Also, when you sign up to get a table, now for me, I get a table in the artist's alley.
Right.
Because that's where all the producers and creators are. I get to see other people who are doing what I'm doing a little bit differently than I'm doing it, or doing things that are different than what I'm doing, but with the same spirit in which I'm doing it. So it's very, very motivational. Yeah. Because you get, let's face it, you do compare yourself to other people.
Sure.
They say you shouldn't, but you do, right? It just happens. But it's also very inspiring to see that, no, this is still happening. This is going on. I can do this. Yeah. And other people are doing it too. And it just makes me want to be better and do more. Yeah. When you said I was prolific, I laugh a little bit because it's not that that's a goal. Yeah. It's just that I can't stop. It's more like an addiction.
Right. Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop. So do you find that like Artist Alley, when you're hanging out and talking with other artist creators, is it supportive all the time, or is there sometimes like, and I'm not trying to get into dirt, I'm just curious like how that dynamic works?
Most of the time, very supportive. Yeah. We are all trying to share our experiences because at the base level, if you support each other, you are bringing the level up across the board. Right. People that cause drama, and it's human beings, so of course there are people that cause drama. Yeah. They just bring it down. And so we tend to identify those people very quickly. Yeah. And we tend to move away from that because we're all pretty vulnerable because we're just small, independent, entrepreneurial people. Right. Most of us have full-time jobs. The few lucky ones that are, super ace hard workers.
Yeah.
This is all they do.
Gotcha.
And, you wouldn't ever want to jeopardize that. So you learn pretty quickly what's healthy, what's promoting, what's productive, and what's not.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Comic expo parties, are they crazy? I've heard stories.
That's so funny. I full disclosure, now that I'm 49, I at the end of a convention day, all I want to do is eat and go to bed. I have tried to promise myself to do some of the parties just for the networking aspect of it.
Sure, yeah.
And so, when we go to the creators parties are usually just a meal and just hanging out, right? Partly because we're all tired, but also because we want to actually talk. If you go somewhere with a more party atmosphere, you're there to just, have fun, but you don't really get any business done. Yeah. And I find that, especially at the major professional conventions, like say the San Diego Comic Con, or Calgary Comic Expo, the business gets done at the after party.
Gotcha.
A lot of the time. Like, hey, I want you to meet this artist. I want you to meet this writer. I was thinking of a book you guys might be good on, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. I imagine that Hollywood is very similar.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
A friend of mine used to tell me about doing karaoke after. Because he would go, I think he went to every freaking convention. Like, because he was with Udon at the time, so I think or he's probably still with them. But he was like traveling every convention around, so 6 months he was gone.
Oh yeah,
just traveling, doing.
It's a season. It's a convention season. For sure.
So how many do you try to get to?
I usually do 3 or 4 a year. Lately, I found there's been a shift in the world, so to speak. The bigger conventions seem to be doing less well.
Oh.
Smaller conventions seem to be doing better.
Well, you were just at the Horror Con.
In
Calgary.
June?
June.
And I'm surprised. Horror is a part of what I do, but most of my work is not horror. Yeah. And yet the diversity at the Calgary Horror Con, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I do better there than half the other shows.
Really?
I can't recommend HorrorCon enough. Huh. And what's funny to me is what a family show it is.
Right.
There were 3 children dressed as Pinhead, Jason, Michael, and I was just like, what? But apparently they love the movies. Yeah. And these are like practically infants,
Good Lord.
But I just thought, this is fandom. And this is a very vibrant fandom. And that's why the Calgary Horror Con, I think, does so well. It's because it still has that spark of vibrancy. Yeah. I think the larger shows have a commercialism to them that it's good if you're going, to buy, high-end things or from big name things or going there to meet the big name guests. Yeah. But I feel like the little guys, we Artist Alley people, we independent people, we may get glossed over a little bit more at those large shows.
Yeah, I get it. And that, to me, I think would be like finding a diamond in the rough, right?
Yes.
Where, it's something that's super hyper-produced on one side, and then, the independents on the other. I think you could find some really great stuff, your stuff included. And I've got this, I should mention that you gave me this great book of gloaming that I get to, can I read it? Can I take it out of the plastic and actually read it?
Yes, you can take it out of the plastic. The collector's market is a lie, kids.
Damn it. I'll wear my gloves.
About the diamond in the rough thing, I can't say this enough. When you go to a convention, visit the Artist's Alley, because these are the creators that don't have bosses looking over them saying, you must create along these lines. Right. You must create a product for our marketing and our merchandise. You must write this way. These are people that have no limits put on them. And what you might find there might blow your mind. And that being said, I still love mainstream comics, and I still buy them, but I have picked up a beautifully produced, glossy, amazing looking book that sucks, and so just because it has a logo on it that you might recognize is no guarantee of quality. Likewise, Joe Blow in Artist Alley that has a comic that he did at Staples, that he photocopied, might be the most brilliant thing you'll read this year.
Right. Oh, yeah. So true. Man. Okay, so you're going to hate me, but back in 1989, maybe 90, I sold issues 1 through 10 original ElfQuest and 1 through 9 of Ambush Bug.
Ambush Bug.
To help pay my rent.
Yeah.
Oh, and the first, I want to say 16, but maybe that's too many, of Gru the Wanderer.
Gru! Sergio Aragones. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, in your professional, comic opinion, did I sell too soon?
No, the 90s was the boom and the bust.
Gotcha.
So that would have been at the very, very peak of comic frenzy.
Yeah.
And then we're slowly recovering now, but digital has really kind of muddied the waters. Now, this is not to knock digital, you guys, because I suffer from running out of room-itis. Like, I love comics, but literally I'm like, where am I going to put these?
Yeah.
And people would say, well, just sell them. And to those people, I say, whoosh, slap. My dad's like, you could sell these for a college tuition. I'm like, I could also sell them for smack, but I'm not gonna. Have we met? So digital's muddied the waters a little bit. What's most important now for comics is to go to your local comic shop, support your local comic shop. If you subscribe, if you have like what do they call it? A box at the local comic shop, pick it up every week. Those guys, they depend on you picking up the comics you say that you're going to pick up. They really need you to get in there. And if you're not like a regular picker-upper, then just instead of ordering on Amazon, stop by your local comic shop, see if they've got it. Give them a shot before you go online. Just because we don't want that to vanish.
Right.
Free Comic Book Day, which they do in May.
Yeah.
Which is awesome for getting families and boys and girls into the store. Really did a lot, I think, to breathe life into the comics industry. And now you see people in cosplay there, people lined up out the door just to get into the store. The comics culture is alive and well, but it does need careful nurturing and taking care of.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So to that end, like collectibles, is that... what is it? Media Pop? Is that the
Funko Pop?
Funko
I think
Pop
is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, Funko Pop. Like, what are your thoughts on Funko Pop?
Good. I appreciate the coolness of being able to mass produce everything across all sorts of fandoms.
Right.
What bothers me about Funko Pops is that they're a cookie cutter device that you just slap some different hair and costume on and say, look, it's this character now. Nope, now it's this character.
Yeah.
I own, I think, 2 of them because they were characters I absolutely couldn't live without. So in that sense, yes, I fell for it. But Funko Pops just bother me. Just because it feels like something's being pulled over our eyes. You know? It's like, we are putting no effort into these except a dash of paint here and like maybe like a little earpiece there. But look, it's your character. Like, no, it isn't. You're a liar. This isn't an action figure. It's a bobblehead. It's just another bobblehead. I'm fine. I've been hurt by bobbleheads before.
Support group. It's okay, Michael. We love you.
And it just kept nodding at me.
Wouldn't stop. I had one on my dashboard and it just kept nodding. Am I going the right way? I kept asking and it kept nodding. And every once in a while, it doesn't know.
So many people just took off their headphones and went, what the hell is happening right now?
I'm out. Shit. Okay. So a while back, myself and you and a guy named EMRE Cords did this insane project where we were I had this idea of Captain Mike being a helicopter reporter.
Yeah, for the air traffic.
Around Calgary, because I got stuck there in traffic one day and it came to life. So I engaged you and EMRE to help breathe life into this thing.
Yes.
And I still hang out with EMRE and he does all my sound.
Oh, sweet.
Even to this day. Yeah, he's kick-ass. But I would love to hear your recollection of that time that we were in the studio above 7th Avenue, yelling and screaming, and there's tanks and there's weapons.
The attack chopper.
Yeah.
I think at one point we had a T-Rex. So just let me paint the picture here. And I'm sure every city has this, but Calgary had a captain. Kirk. His
Captain
actual
Kirk.
name was actually Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
And he did the traffic report for the radio station from a helicopter. So you could kind of hear the helicopter in the background.
Yeah.
And he would have that helicopter DJ voice. Well, it looks pretty good up here on the Deerfoot, and like that kind of voice. And so your idea, Mike, was to say, what if it was an attack helicopter? And so the punchline was always, we found a stall or something, or traffic's going slow on this road.
Yeah.
And Fox 1, and then boom, right? Like, and that's cleared up. So now the congestion has been eased along. So that was the joke, right?
Yeah.
And I just laughed so hard because who, while sitting in their car, doesn't wish the traffic would just explode in front of them? So we had attack ninjas at one point, right?
Yep.
And of course, EMRE with his great soundboard there. I mean, we had all this. We had a
I wonder
Hummer.
if he still has that, because we never finished producing that. I think we recorded like 10 or 12.
Yeah, we did ninjas. We did the T-Rex. We did a tank. We had a tank.
That made the cut.
Yeah.
The fighter jet.
The fighter jet. Yeah.
And the attack helicopter.
Yeah.
It was absolute mayhem. And below us, all these people were gathered on Stephen Avenue below his studio because there's like explosions and screaming. And
we thought we better finish this, or the cops are coming. There are people looking up at us. We're like, hi, we're all fine here. How are you?
It's so funny. Yeah. Well, and you guys are just brilliant. I mean, what a great collaboration.
And that was a fun time. It's a good vibe. And this goes for comics as well. When you're sitting in a room with someone laughing, and you're making each other laugh, and you're ramping up that way, know you've hit a vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I took those spots to CJ92.
Oh yeah.
Like I took them to radio stations. And I remember sitting in a room with Jerry Forbes, and he's just like, "Yeah, no, these are too real.
They're too real.
They're too real." He goes, "We can't play these. People will think that it's Armageddon." And I was like, "All right." But
wasn't that good?
but a month later, the guy went and did something similar. Like,
yeah. But you know what? That's the industry too, right?
Totally,
it's like, oh no, we can't use that idea. Quick, get that idea. Do that idea. Just don't pay those guys for it. We'll do it in house.
Yeah. But I'm super proud of it. And you're the voice of Captain Mike.
I am.
And EMRE and I are exploding. Well, you exploded a couple times too, I think. Like we were on fire. There's body parts.
EMRE played some douche bro who had a Hummer. Hey, buddy!
It's my Hummer! So good. Oh. Yeah. Oh, shit. Good times.
Yes, indeed.
So you're a voice actor as well. We should point that out.
Yes. livemike.com is my voice acting site.
And are you doing much these days in that world, or
No, I had children.
Oh, and, children!
Like I do acting, I do voice, but like a lot of that has sort of it dimmed when the kids came into the world.
Totally,
and I was okay with that. But now the phone is ringing again for little bits of things here and there. I do a lot of improv murder mystery theater.
Oh, sweet. With which company?
PegasusPerformances.ca.
Nice.
And they do stuff a lot at the Dean House, and also murder mysteries around town, dinner theater, that kind of thing. I am going out on a set for the first time in freaking years next Sunday. I believe I'm an extra at a car dealership, but I don't care. I'm just like, I'm on set. And it feels so good to get back into that.
Yeah, totally.
Part of the thing with, I think you know this as well, when you've got art brain or creative brain, you can't be idle too long. You got to be doing something, or you'll boil over like a pot on the stove.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be putting that energy into something, and I like to put my energy into as many places as I can.
Yeah.
So writing comics is my main artistic expression gig right now.
Yeah.
But being able to do the voice, the acting, the improv, and then being on the set, I'm like, oh, good. Now, if I could just do this all the time, that'd be great.
It'd be perfect. You should come back to the Moose.
Yes.
We're at Crossroads Market now.
Crossroads Market. I have such happy memories of the Moose.
Yeah.
Used to have such good times at the Moose.
Oh, man. Yeah. And it's the same. It's like just a huge family.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so good.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, man. Okay. I'm going to bring this. Let me know if I can talk about this or not.
Sure.
You went viral at one point.
So my bread and butter job, and there's two types of artists, folks, rich and employed by other means. So I work for a company whose name I can't mention, but I am also an owner.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see that. I'm a flight attendant. And not last August, like August 2016, I was doing the safety demo on the plane, and somebody videoed it. And for whatever reason, it went crazy viral.
It blew up.
Like, it just insane.
Yeah.
I had people emailing me from the UK saying, you're on the Daily Mail website. I had a friend in Belgium say, you're on the news here. And then a friend in Florida was like, you're on Fox News. And I'm like, tell no one. don't associate me with Fox News. But I was like, what has happened?
Yeah.
And the last time I looked at the video, more than the population of Canada had seen it. So I think like 39 million.
Good Lord.
I was just like, what? I can't. Like, I got more hits than Britney Spears, bitch. I was like, woo. And I became a GIF or GIF, however you want to pronounce it. If you type in always GIF. Oh, and you should see the murder in his eyes right now. You should see it. If you type in flight attendant to your little messenger program under the GIF option, I'm one of the options.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here in the living room of Kensington Studios with none other than Michael McAdam, the live GIF.
Live GIF.
Livegif.com. Oh, that's wild. So how does that feel to be,
It's bizarre. Internet fame, because of course, it wasn't a YouTube video, so I didn't get any money for it at all.
Yeah.
It's weird being completely famous and completely anonymous at the same time.
Yeah.
Except in the context. So when I'm actually working on the plane, I've had people of all ages say, are you that guy? And I'm like, yes. So I had Kyle, actually I didn't have him do that. He just did this. He made a comic book cover saying, it's that funny flight attendant. And it's a picture of me doing the safety demo, but his work is like spot on. So it looks just like me. And I made it into postcards, and now I hand them out to people who recognize me on the plane.
Brilliant.
And I just
are you kidding me?
No, I'm just like,
dude, that's so wicked.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's that funny flight attendant as seen on TV.
Oh my God. So do you have like the, livemic.com?
No, because I'm stupid. The hardest thing about being a comic book writer at my level, at the indie level, is realizing that that's 1/10 of your job.
Right.
And then 7/10 of the job is marketing.
Yeah.
I should never let anything leave my hands without branding all over it.
Oh, yeah, man.
But it's taken me years to get it through my freaking head. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, smack.
It's so, I'm looking at this book here.
Yes.
And we got on the back Kablam digital printing.
Yes.
Do they pay for this, or do they offset the cost of?
They offset the cost of my printing. So Kablam Digital is who I do my printing through. They are associated with indieplanet.com. So when you print through Kablam, you just have to click a button and say, yes, please include my comic for sale on indieplanet.com. So you can order it for print or digital.
Oh, nice.
Download on IndiePlanet.
Yeah.
And Kablam is so great because not only will they bend over backwards to get your books to you in time for a convention and whatnot, and I've had nothing but good experiences with them, but they will also offset the cost of your printing if you put their ad on your back cover, your inside back cover, wherever you want it, but the price differs depending on where you put it.
I haven't opened this yet, and I don't know if I ever will. But on the inside back cover, do you have any of your promotion propaganda in
that's gloaming #1, so I don't, but I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And now all my books have ads for the other Two Gargoyles comics, or the artists like Jeremy Few or Kyle Hazard. Sweet. I had to make an ad for Jeremy because he's an artist, not a marketer, and he's like, I don't know what I want, and I'm like, by the way, that is artist speak. I don't know what I want. That you'll hear that a lot.
I'm getting letters. But they can't write, they can just draw. So they're going to draw me like angry emails.
Well, the thing is, some artists, like Donna Barr is a friend of mine, and she's the queen of indie. She's a maven, right? She does the Desert Peach. She does Stints. She does After Dead. She does a lot of stuff. And so in a way, she was kind of like my mentor because I just saw what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can't be her, but I can take lessons from what she's learned.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, yeah, basically, to quote RuPaul, you better work. Like if you want to make comics, be aware that you don't get to just sit in your room, write something, and then send it off into the world to just grow.
And then wait for the adulation.
No.
I think that's the same as almost, any endeavor, but
any
certainly creative endeavor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta fight for it. You gotta work for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether it's the acting perspective, or the voice or the singing or like whatever. I have never met an indie artist that was able to just show up, do something, and then go home and wait for the checks to roll in.
Right, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, if it did, we would all be like, woohoo!
Oh yeah,
that would be the best.
Oh my god!
But no, you really do have to put in all the effort all the time. If you're not actively doing something, you should be thinking about it.
Yeah, Have you been on panels yet?
I've been on a couple.
Nice.
Yes, at our local cons here. I'm a member of Panel 1 Calgary.
Yeah.
And that's panel1.ca. And that's specifically for indie comic creators.
Oh, cool.
And so they do a show every May, I want to say.
Okay.
See, my shows start to run together. I'm like, which month was that?
Starts with an M.
Yeah. And then they... and they go out of their way to really promote us,
Yeah.
And then, of course, they want our opinions and our viewpoints. So, yeah, I've been on a panel at Panel 1. And I was on a panel at Conversion years ago. And it was about our comics literature. And my stance is, yes, of course they are.
Yeah.
Anything that gets you to read, as far as I'm concerned, is literature.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping in the new year here to start becoming a guest at these shows, because I've been doing this long enough, and I have, you said I was prolific. I have like 5 titles and then at least a dozen individual issues.
Right.
So I would like to believe that I have enough of a body of work to start attending as a profestional guest and have my own table and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Hell,
I would hope so.
yeah. Honestly, at this point, but I mean, like anything else, you put in your dues. Overnight success takes 10 years, they say.
Yeah.
Right. So, or in some cases 20. But the concept is you do have this huge body of work. You've done the stuff. You've learned lessons that others don't even know to ask questions about yet. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to, not just for the cachet of you being that professional, but to give back and to share to those that haven't.
I have a strong philosophy about that my sharing everything that I've learned and I know just makes us all better and makes us all stronger.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I have all the answers.
Yeah, sure.
If I did, I'd be rich. But if I share and other people share, we will make each other better and we will climb that mountain together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is kick ass.
Oh, thank you.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Oh, it says Garbucks Coffee. And this is one of those things where...
Maybe I'm going to take a picture of that. And this is going to be our album cover.
Oh, sweet.
But you keep talking.
Oh, okay. Basically, it's Goliath from the Disney cartoon Gargoyles. And he is the center of the Starbucks logo. And so I called it Garbucks because it kind of is my brand in a way because it's gargoyles. But also it has that fan art cachet to it. And there's a big debate always about fan art.
Right.
Because technically it's copyright infringement.
Sure.
Right. And yet convention fandom has been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. And so I think it boils down to, no, technically you shouldn't do it. But at the same time, you can get away with a small amount.
Right.
So I made a t-shirt for myself.
Right.
It says Garbucks Coffee, and you can get it too. Just go to my website, twogargs.com. Anyway, and then I made little coffee companions, which are just stickers.
Yeah.
And the stickers are the same size as certain coffee company logos, and so you can put them on their cups and have a Garbucks coffee.
Oh my God!
I also have
cool.
Krampus Espresso because I love Krampus, who is like the dark side of Santa Claus from the Germanic myths. And so instead of the siren logo, it's Krampus. Oh my God. I intend to put that on all my coffee cups this Christmas.
Nice.
It's like big red coffee cup, Krampus on the front.
Can we buy those?
Yes. Again, twogargs.com has all the details. I have a link on there that says store.
Yeah.
And my store will have my merch.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
because that's the other thing too, right? If I want to keep writing comics, I have to make the comics sustainable. So I sell art prints of some of my characters, and then also some fan art as well.
Yeah.
And I have like the stickers and like little buttons and things like that. And you can get them all through twogargs.com.
Nice.
And because anything you do feeds the kitty. It feeds my ability to produce.
Right.
Which brings me to
Yes, bring it.
Patreon.
Right.
Crowdfunding is so awesome, you guys. Like Kickstarter, Patreon, these things really help us indie creators to create, because we all have, full-time jobs and none of us are getting rich quick.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to keep producing if we want to do that 10 years to overnight success thing you were just talking about. So I have patreon.com/2gargs.
Yeah.
Which is my main Patreon.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description.
Oh, good.
Of all that stuff.
And for gloaming specifically, we're doing an experiment. We're doing a page at a time. So it's patreon.com/gloaming. And the idea is if we get up to $75 a page, we'll produce full color lettered everything pages all at once. Yeah. Right now we're at the $33 mark, so we're putting up just the black and white pages with no lettering on them.
Oh my god!
And we just put up one a month. So no one's out of pocket. Like it's we have 6 backers, I think, right now, 6 or 7, and the total's $33 a month. And this is the bare bones reality of us being able to afford to keep creating the pages.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
How have you found working with Patreon?
It's good so far, but again, I know that if there's a failing, it's in me.
Yeah.
Because you have to have an audience for Patreon. And according to my social media, my numbers aren't huge. I have about 660 followers on Facebook and about 430 followers on Twitter, and then 300 and some followers on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I'm still trying to figure out how to break that ceiling, I find it's easier if you're the actual artist, because you can be putting out sketches and content that really draws people in, whereas me, I can put up excerpts of content and occasionally maybe a script page, but it's just not as sexy as seeing the sketching of the drawing.
That's true.
Frustrating.
Well, you can like sketch just napkins, words on napkins.
I should. And today's stick figure sketch is
and number them.
Number them.
Right.
This is a limited edition stick figure sketch,
and then you can put them in your store. For a huge amount of money.
eBay, $120 for this original napkin sketch of a guy that can't draw. It could work.
Yeah.
There's a market for everything.
Of course there is. There's Rule 37 of the internet. No, that's different.
Chicks with dicks, ladies and gentlemen.
What? Okay, let's wrap this up.
Sure.
Your favorite books right now of all time?
Comic books or booky books?
You choose.
Oh, man. Come on.
Yeah. Give it to me.
I'll give it to me. Okay, one book I just read that kind of blew me away was Snagglepuss, Exit Stage Left. And it is a graphic novel based on the Hanna-Barbera pink, whatever he is, leopard character, Snagglepuss. Yeah. But it is all about...
Snagglepuss.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. It's all about the McCarthy era of the 1950s and what it was like in Hollywood. And Snagglepuss is a playwright, an American playwright who is gay. Yeah. And he has a fake wife and a fake relationship. And then his old friend from the sticks, because they're from the country, Huckleberry Hound, who's also leading a double life as a gay man. What? Like, no, I'm not even kidding. All the Hanna-Barbera characters in there, Squiddly Diddly, Doggy Daddy,
oh my God.
Quick Draw McGraw.
There's the Great Grape Ape at one point.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love Grape Ape. But yeah, and it's all, the whole comic is a metaphor. And it takes place in the 50s in the States.
Wow.
And it's all about the McCarthy era. And it blew me away.
Wow.
With how good it was. And that being said, one of the books that's had the most impact on me over the last 5 or 6 years was Lock and Key by Joe Hill. Oh. You may know him as Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
I picked up the first Lock and Key on Free Comic Book Day. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. I'll just check. The next day I was back in the store and I bought the entire run of graphic novels.
Wow.
It is about Key House, which is a magical kind of house that is in Maine, of course. It's in Maine.
Of course.
But it's very Cthulian. In fact, the name of the town it's in is Lovecraft.
Wow.
The thing is, there are these magical keys that if you put them in the right door, produce different magical effects. Unfortunately, there's one key that opens a door to the other realm. And when I say the other realm, I don't mean the pony and unicorn realm. I mean the slithering, gibbering madness of Lovecraft itself realm. And only kids can perceive the magic. Wow. Unfortunately, kids are also the most vulnerable. And one of the first things they unlocked is an echo that lives in the well house, an echo of a demon long forgotten.
Holy shit.
It's equal parts fairy tale and horror, and then Cthulhian horror layered on top of it. It is so complex and so vivid, I cannot recommend it hard enough to anyone with a stomach for it. If you don't like horror, do not pick up the book.
Yeah.
Because it's got some very adult themes in there. It's not for kids. There's just kids in it. But man, I haven't read a story that good in many years.
Wow. Okay, cool. I will go. I've got a comic book shop just down the street.
Yes.
On 10th Street. And I'm going to go buy it.
Yes.
I'm going to go buy it later today.
Locky and key.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Every one of my tattoos carries a key.
Oh, you're okay. You're going to like this.
And look, it's like an octopus, but it's Cthulhu-ish.
Okay, well, you're either going to like this or you're going to be like, why? Why did you show me this book? Oh my God.
I'm broken. Oh, far. Okay, so that's to music right now. What's your jam? What do you listen to?
My jam right now. It's funny. I've been getting back into music in terms of what my kids listen to, because I'm like, no, got to be a good father, got to show them all the music, got to show them. My dad started indoctrinating them with the best of the 60s and 70s.
Oh, okay.
I am sort of giving them the 80s. I'm re-experiencing new wave right now.
Oh, like Gary Newman.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the new romantics like Tears for Fears and thing. I'm having a total nostalgia trip right now. And the kids are like, this is really good music. I'm like, damn right it is, son. You're damn right.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So at Loose Moose, we have lots of high school kids that come. That's been a big part of the program, is getting high school kids involved in the theater. And this kid walks in the other day with a Suicidal Tendencies hat. And I'm just like, what? Because that was my jam in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, do you even know who these guys are? And just like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's like just lit up.
I love that.
Yeah.
With the advent of the iPod and with the advent of music sharing and digital music, my kids, video games, like Fallout has a lot of 1930s and 40s hits that they love.
I've been playing Fallout. I'm like 50 hours in and I don't think I'm ever going to finish.
Well, exactly, right? It's very immersive.
Yeah.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy brought back a lot of that vintage 70s rock.
Hooked on a feeling.
Ooga chaka. Yeah, and so the kids listen to that too. So their well-roundedness is helping me relive my own well-roundedness, I guess.
Oh, that's really cool.
Just recently, I downloaded Sean Cassidy's That's Rock and Roll.
Oh, my God. Wow. Next is going to be Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett! I was made for dancing. Don't trigger me, man. Don't trigger me.
Trigger warning. Oh, my God. Yeah, well, it's fun, because we're the same vintage. And
yes.
So we've got some shared zeitgeist.
Yeah. Right. Somewhere deep in a box somewhere, there might still be a VHS tape of you dancing at our grade 12 cast party, I think, for See How They Run.
Oh, my God.
And I don't remember the song, but it was something like, yeah, you. And you were giving her in my basement. And I was just videoing you because, dang, it was awesome.
I hope that never sees the light of day.
Well, they say VHS degrades after 10 years. So I think you're safe.
Oh, my God. But that's hilarious. That was a fun cast party.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
My mom made lasagna, you guys. Mom made lasagna.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then booze was snuck in by someone. That's what makes a party a party.
It was so fun.
Yes.
Huh. What's next for you?
Next, I am Spectrum number 2 is undergoing construction right now. We're about 12 pages in. I am doing the lettering and I'm doing the flatting, which is basically just laying down the flat colors as a general guide so that the actual colorist, which will be the same as the artist, Jeremy Thew, can then turn them into real like artistic coloring.
Gotcha. When you say lettering, are you hand lettering or are you using typography?
Oh, no, InDesign. I use InDesign.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No,
What typeface do you use?
For me, and I can't stress this enough, your comic is not finished until it is lettered, and your lettering is a character. It is as important to the mood of your comic as anything else. And by God in his heaven, if you letter your book in Comic Sans, I will burn it. I'll burn it at your table. I will upend your table, burn it, and I will chase you out of the event. No. Your font matters, people. Right. It matters. One of the things I'm using right now, one of my favorite typefaces is Dave Gibbons Lower from Comic Craft.
Oh.
Dave Gibbons does this great, it has upper and lower case.
Yeah.
And I like doing that because characters aren't always shouting.
Yeah.
And I find that in the superhero books, the all caps fonts are great for action and whatnot, but there's no conversation possible. And a lot of my books are a conversational tone.
Yeah.
So I usually use something with a lower case.
Huh.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
And that way, if they want to emphasize something, I can all caps, bold, italicize, whatever. So Dave Gibbons, and then also Comic Crazy, which is also by Comic Craft, is another one of my favorite fonts.
I'm trying to think. I did a comic, like a web comic years ago with a guy named Joel Palahnichka, and I'm trying to remember the name of the website, but like Bada Boom was like one of their typefaces. But,
oh yes,
but this guy had Anime Ace was another one.
Yeah,
but you can go and download a bunch of free ones.
Was that Blambot?
Blambot.
Yeah,
Blambot, and they were like tons of stuff in there. Super fun.
Blambot has tons of free fonts. It's blambot.com, by the way.
Yeah.
And Comic Craft always has sales, especially at New Year's. They sell fonts for the same price as it is the year. So in January 1st, you'll get fonts for 2019.
Wow.
You know? And then
that's fun.
Yeah, at San Diego Comic-Con every year, they also do major sales.
Interesting.
So keep an eye open for that because those are the fonts you want to be using. Blambot and Comic Craft are the number 2 best, in my opinion, for lettering a comic with.
Super cool. So as is the nature of this show, it's about creative rebels and entrepreneurs. And you're certainly both of those things in spades. For the people that are coming up and wanting to do this sort of thing, give me, and it doesn't have to be like a long list, but what are the things that you wish that you knew, or what's some knowledge, some wisdom that you can impart for people that are looking to go on this journey? Maybe not for comics, but just creating something, getting it out into the world.
Finish it. 2 words. Finish it. It does not matter what you think of your creation. You are not its audience.
Yeah.
Finish the work and get it out there. Don't keep rehashing and redoing. Oh, it's not ready yet. It's not ready. It's not ready yet. It's never going to be ready.
Right.
Finish it. That arguably my first Diaper Man graphic novel sucks. Because it covers a period of time from 1996 to 1999. 3 years is a lot of growth.
Right.
When we look at it now, we're like, oh God. And yet, Diaper Man was the most viewed comic on Indie Planet 2 days ago.
What?
Yeah. And funny, I mentioned Donna Barr earlier.
Yeah.
She was another one of the most viewed comics. So I was on the same level as her, at least in that category.
Wow.
It kind of blew my mind away. And then I just started to laugh.
Right. Oh my God.
So you don't know how your work's going to be received.
Right.
I have a viral video. I didn't know that was going to happen. It certainly had nothing to do with me other than just me doing it.
Yeah.
But you can't predict how your work's going to be received. But you must complete it.
And get
Finish
it out there.
it. And then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Basically, never let the cement dry under your feet.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward. Like I'm still moving forward with Thunder, even though I'm refreshing the old art.
Right.
I'm not redoing the story. I'm just refreshing it.
Yeah.
I'm still moving forward with it.
Yeah.
And so I can't say this enough. Finish the work. 90% of life, and I hate to sound like my dad, but 90% of life is showing up.
Right.
And showing up in this case means finishing your work.
Yeah.
Finish that song, finish that scene, finish that book, whatever it is, finish it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
and inspiring as hell.
Oh, thank you.
Michael, thanks so much for joining me today on the RebelRebel podcast.
Oh, Mike, thanks so much for having me. This is a blast.
Yeah, man. Coming up next week, Dan Gibbons, playwright and Scorpio Theater founder, comes by, and we talk about everything from being an award-winning playwright to how to build a Dalek. That's right, I said how to build a Dalek. Check out next week's episode on RebelRebel, and don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Libsyn. Find us online at our website, therebelrebelpodcast.com, or socially at RebelRebelPod.